Greetings and welcome to another episode of BTY. My name is Michael, and as always, I'm joined by my very good friend, Daniel Hammond. And today we are excited to bring to you a video where we are discussing how you can get a business off of the ground in Namibia.
Yeah.
Today we have a usual guest, but a very special guest because in this video, I'm going to be playing the role of interviewer, and Daniel's going to be the interviewee because Daniel has got a business that he has started right here in Namibia. And Daniel, first of all, I have a question for you, man. Tell us, before we get even into the question, tell us about what the business that you have started is all about.
So I started off H&B Ebuy a couple of years ago. I think it's 3 or 4 years now. But this is an e-commerce business. So what we do is we basically run a service where products that aren't widely available in Namibia or aren't available at all, we then source for our clients and then import them, then deliver it to our clients in Namibia. Usually these are products that you can find on takealot.com. So that's actually the vision, to have H&B become like a takealot.com for Namibia. Though yeah, it's had a lot of challenges. We've had quite a couple of cash flow issues as well because of how we budgeted the products, and also just trying to help the clients out to have them coming back and also refer us to various other people. But yeah, it's been a good venture. I've learned a lot, and that's definitely the most important thing for me currently, is to take that experience and use it within H&B and even in other business ventures.
Fantastic to hear, man. It is a fantastic idea that you have there, bro. And I think H&B has done well in its first years, and there's still lots of potential to come, brother. But so let's say you got this idea. Um, you can maybe spare us on how it was that you came to the idea.
Hmm.
But what I want to know is, once you had that idea of this potential new business that you wanted to start, what were the first steps that you took to get the ball moving?
Yeah, so initially when I got the idea, I was looking to get a product in from South Africa to Namibia that I wanted to use myself, and that's where the spark came from. Aren't there people that also need
Mm,
this type of services themselves? And to get the ball running, I actually just ordered quite a few products from South Africa and then sold them here in Namibia. That's how I started. But what I realized is that I didn't want the stock per se. I wanted to do the service based on orders and
yeah.
what was demanded by clients, because you can buy a whole lot of products and then people, they don't demand it. It's not what they really want. Then you sit with
Mm,
stock and you don't know where to store it. But I didn't follow the steps of registering the business, getting a fitness certificate, and all of those technicalities, but that's what I'll get into a bit later. Though I just tried to get clients, and I started marketing this with family and with friends. So I didn't really use any sort of special tools at the beginning. I just started it off and spread it by word to the different people. And then later on, I started talking about it on Instagram, and that's where a couple of guys approached me who later on became my clients. And then there's also a few others that I approached and asked them if they would be keen to run this business with me. I co-founded this with my cousin Romario. We kind of, or I came up with the idea, but then we kind of ran it together from the
yeah.
get-go. But that's basically how it started off, just me needing the service myself, identifying that gap, and then seeing that I had that problem myself. I tried to find the solution, and that's how H&B started.
Fantastic to hear, man. So obviously, I've been able to, have a view of how this has all been going. But one
Mm,
thing that I've always been interested in, when it comes to getting a business up and running, and especially once you know, let's say now you've gotten the idea and you've
mm.
taken the first few steps. For me, the first thing that always comes to mind is like, how do you actually market a business? How do you get the word out to people? And obviously, like you say, it starts off with friends and family. But as you went further along down the road, what avenues did you use in terms of marketing? And tell us which one was the most effective.
Yeah, WhatsApp was a good avenue, and I'd say that's the most effective
Sure.
even up to today. Then I used Instagram as well. I started off an Instagram account for H&B. Later on, I noticed that TikTok was doing well, and I also put up a TikTok account. TikTok really gained a lot of traction, and that really helped. Though coming back to Instagram for marketing purposes, I did use a lot of ads in the beginning, which
I see.
also helped. And then what I tried to do that also got me a couple of customers was finding local influencers, people that had quite like a relevant voice on Instagram, and then approaching them by saying, okay, if you put this on your account for a while, then I'll give you
Mm,
X amount of money. So that's
I see.
also what I utilized to just get the word out there. But further on, word of mouth also really still works well. So it's the reputation you have, and then just
Mm,
clients referring me to potential other clients, because you actually have to view everyone as your customers. So yeah, I'd say it's then Instagram, which I still use, TikTok, and WhatsApp Business, where I communicate with my clients. These
I
are the
see.
three avenues I use for marketing purposes. I did try a website, but that's very expensive for a startup. You have to pay hosting
Mm,
fees. I spent a lot of money on actually having someone develop it for me, but then it needed to be hosted on Shopify, which is quite expensive, and I wouldn't recommend that from the get go. If you do have a lot of capital, you can look into that, but I know from like the limited amount of time that I had H&B on the website, it didn't really bring in customers. I think it was just for aesthetic purposes and to show that we're
mm,
moving forward as a company. But that was
sure.
probably a mistake that I made and a lesson that I had to learn quite early on. Though it is something I would recommend later on down the line, actually having the website, doing all of the orders, processing, financing through the
Yeah.
website. But it does become a bit more complicated, and it is something that you'll need quite a bit of capital, like amount of money available when you are doing that. And it isn't something I'd recommend from the get go. I would say Instagram, TikTok, and WhatsApp Business does the job.
Yeah, man, it's so cool that we have these low cost and almost free platforms available for marketing.
Yeah. Mm.
But I think because they are free and low cost, everyone's trying to do their business from Instagram, from WhatsApp.
Yeah,
So you really do have to do something different to stand out. But
definitely.
that's great to hear, man. So the next thing that I think we should talk about in terms of starting your business, man, is how do you manage the finances of the business? So uh, how is it that you opened up a business bank account
Mm.
for the company, as well as managing the accounting of the business? Who did that, and how did that look like for H&B?
Yeah, so last year I actually started up our bank account for the first time in January. Before that, I registered the business via BIPA. I had an agent do that for me, who I also paid a X amount of money. So they got my founding statement in place. They made sure that we were registered as a CC. That's how I registered my company, a closed corporation, but that is
I
also
see.
phasing out in Namibia. I don't know how long it's still going to be an available option. So On the financial side of things, I've got a bit of accounting background. I did accounting up to grade 12. So I was running the accounts myself, where I used a simple income statement and a balance sheet. The balance sheet wasn't really necessary. Maybe when we had a bit of debtors, which would then be the shareholders, just to show this is the amount of money that they put in and so forth. Though the income statement was really helpful to track the amount of income that you're getting in, which is usually through your sales, and then the expenses, which goes into if you're paying the ads on Instagram, the
I see.
transport fees, the
Mm,
cost of the stock that you're buying, and a few other sundry expenses, as you call it, those smaller fees that you need to pay here and there. But the accounting side of things, it does become difficult because usually you've got this amount of money that comes in, and then you're like, okay, so we made a sale of 1,500 today, but then you have to realize that you have to buy the product with that amount of money. You have
yes.
to make sure that it comes into Namibia, and you have to make sure that you're paying the import VAT, like all of those expenses that comes
Sure.
with having an import business. Though I must say it went well. Our company was profitable on the side of the accounting things, but then the second question you asked was about the bank account. How did I register that and what
Mm,
did I need? So, firstly, you have to have your founding statement. Your company needs to be fully registered. Then, what you
I
need to
see.
do is, if you are registered or if you're doing business in a certain area, so I did it from Rehoboth, you have to then get a fitness certificate which says that you are fit to trade. People come out from the town council, the authorities, they do an inspection and see, okay, this is your office space, it's safe, you have these available criteria that are met, and
Sure.
then you also get a certificate of registration. So the town council then sees, okay, you've got a fitness certificate. Now you have registered your company, you've got your founding statement, it's a CC. Once you've got these documents in place, you go to the bank. And when you're in the bank, you go to the business department and you ask them to open an account. You need a certain amount of money to do that, and then it's a process that takes a couple of days where you have to say that, okay, these are the partners and these are the partners that have signing rights. So you have to actually do a resolution as well, where if you're 5 or 6 founders, you say that, okay, these are the 2 guys that are permitted to have a bank account and
I
that
see.
are going to be representing the company.
Wow.
Once you've done that, you've registered your company, and then you also register for online banking so that you're able to have the account on your phone, and then you can do transactions from there. That's simply put how you get into getting a bank account as well.
Sure, man. Wow, lots of interesting things in there, man, and a lot to take note of. What I
Mm.
want to know, just roughly, like, how long did all of that take, man? Like, for you to go from, you know, having nothing official to being fully
Yes.
registered and having a bank account. Like, what was the waiting process there, man?
Yeah, so it depends on how proactive you are. But for
I
me,
see.
if you are proactive and you're going through all of the right channels, it takes from a month to 3 months, depending on how helpful the bank is. Because each bank also has a different process. I did mine through
Mm,
F&B. So yeah, it took about 2 to 3 months for me to have everything in
I see.
place. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff, brother. Sure. So that actually covered another question that I had about registering your business in Namibia.
Mm.
Would you say you've covered everything that it takes in terms of getting that CC?
Yeah, so just getting the CC when you are working with the agent, there's a couple of documents you need. So you need your ID, and then you need all of the members to also have their IDs certified. You go to the police station, you do that, and then they also need to sign off that they are indeed members of the company. So that's basically what you need. After that, you've written what your company is about. You like registering the company also takes a bit of time because you have to go to BIPA, you register the name,
I
and
see.
then they say, okay, this name isn't being used by another entity, so you're allowed to use the name. Once the name is registered, then you then further apply to then get the company then registered with the founding statement and all of that. So the agent takes you
Okay.
through that. This is a process that you can carry out yourself, but then you would need quite a bit of time. And yeah, I would recommend using an agent for that. Then once you've got your bank account and you've got your company registered, then you need a VAT number, which is the
Yeah.
tax that you need to pay. So, yeah, you need to then have proof that you have a business account, and then you take your founding statement, then you go to what we call NAMRA and then BIPA here in Namibia. Then you go to these two different organizations and then they register a tax number for you. And that also takes maybe a day or two, depending on how helpful they are on the day. And then you've got your tax identification number, which is this yellow paper here.
Wow.
Then you are basically good to go. Though what I need to say is that this is something that you need to also check on a yearly basis. Is your tax being paid? And then your fitness certificate and your certificate of registration is also what you do on a yearly basis at
I see.
the town council. So they have to come and check, are you still trading? Do you still have everything in place? So that needs to be done on a yearly basis. That covers basically everything of registering a business in Namibia.
Okay. Okay. Wow, man. Yeah, look, it's a process, but you have to
Mm,
go through these official channels
yeah,
if you want to be, you know, respected and obviously be able to operate in the capacity that you really want to, man. So
yeah,
that's great to learn, man. Great to learn these things. And as we well know, it's different in each country, but
yeah.
yeah, it's fantastic to learn the way that you can get this going in Namibia, man. I guess finally, what I would want to ask then, brother, is what have you learned in the process of starting this first business, H&B, over the last couple of years? And if there's any little nuggets of wisdom that you would like to leave someone with who is, thinking of starting their own business.
Yeah, you have to be patient. That's the number one thing. You have to know that there is a lot of mistakes that's going to happen. So you have to allow yourself the grace to be able to learn from them, not see it as a failure, but rather see it as a lesson. And then if your company doesn't play out the way you thought it would, try again, start something else, and take what you've learned in that
Yeah,
process of having a company before. This is then going to help you continue with your business. It also takes a lot of time, sacrifice, and I would say that when you start off the company, rather do it alone or do it with one partner. Don't start in a big group. That you can do on a later stage so that you're not selling all the shares yourself and so that you make sure that whoever jumps aboard are really in for the thing. They want to run this business with you. They are as passionate about it as yourself because this is a little baby to you. So make sure
mm,
that when you do get people investing into the company, it is for the right purposes and don't be afraid to make mistakes and don't try and have everything in place. Just get started. Start as soon as possible and
yeah,
then as you are moving, you start making sure that things are in place and it's being done right. So yeah, that's what I did and I'm grateful that I
amazing,
started
man.
and didn't try and have everything in place from the get-go. I learned along the way. And that is
Yeah,
the best way to learn as well is to to try, to take action. So that's my piece of advice. Once you've got that idea, take action, get started. If it doesn't work out, try something else. That's what I can offer today.
It's inspirational stuff, man. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. It's been good to get your thoughts. And yeah, man. Of course, we will be putting all the links to H&B, in the description of this video. So if you do want to check that out, if you're needing anything imported from South Africa to Namibia, then they can head out and check H&B and see what they have available. Fantastic stuff, man. Yeah, I think this has been a cool conversation to have, brother. I know that you and I are always looking to learn and grow as much as we can in that entrepreneurial space. And proud of you, man, for taking those steps, starting your own business at such a young age, man. It really is quite an inspiration. And I'm looking forward to, planning out, more business ventures, whether that be through BTY or something else. I know that we are slowly starting to work on some things in the background, man. Fantastic stuff. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I really do hope that it's been informational and that it has been helpful to you. If you enjoy this kind of content, if you want to see everything that we have here to offer at BTY, we are full of ideas and we are bringing you a new episode every week. So please do subscribe to this channel, leave a like on this video, which will help us in terms of getting the video out to more people. Please also share it with someone that you think could benefit from it. But then I think that's it from us. We'll see you guys in the next one. Much love.